So let's go from a flared pant leg to this cute cuffed pant leg. For this project, you're gonna need a pair of scissors, a seam ripper, a seam gauge, pins, needle and thread, and elastic. And this is a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 3/4 inch. So for the project, I'll be using the 3/4 inch elastic for this. So the first thing you want to do is turn your pants wrong side out or inside out. Once you do that, now because it's flared and I don't want to just cuff it and then have this kind of puffed genie look, first thing I'm going to do is take in the seams on both sides on each pant leg. So this is where your little seam gauge is going to come in, and I'm going to go in by 1 inch on each side. I place the 4-inch mark right on the seam line of the hem, and right where the gauge stops at the top there, I'm just going to take a pin because I do not have a chalk, and I'm just going to mark that this is where I'm starting from. And I'm just going to do the same for the other side. I'm going to place that 4-inch mark right at the top. Now you don't necessarily have to go up 4 inches, but I am. And I'm just again going to take one of my pins and just mark that so I know that this is where I'm starting from. And exactly what I just did here by marking off how high I went to start taking in that 1 inch, I'm gonna do to the other pant leg when I get to it. After marking off my points, I'm gonna use my pins as well as my gauge. And remember I said I'm going in from 1 inch. I'm going to take it in 1 inch. So I'm just going to make sure that my gauge is right there on that 1 inch line. And I'm going to place it there. And this is how I know. So I'm going to come down a bit from where the pin is. And I'm going to place a pin here because I know this is my 1 inch mark right there. Okay. And to make sure that I am going down 1 inch all the way, I'm going to use my gauge again, place that 1 inch mark, which is the blue part of this, and I'm going to just place it right there. Gotta make sure that I am in line as best as possible. Right, so see that? All right, so as you can see, I used my pins with the color knobs so that you have an idea of how it goes. So it's gonna start from the seam. So it's like I'm coming down and then I'm staying within the seam line, and then I'm coming out with that 1 inch, and then I'm going back down and I'm stopping my stitch on the seam right before the seam of the hem, because if I go all the way down, I'm not going to be able to do the cuffed look that I'm going for, and I want to use this casing that the pants already has. So I have just finished hand sewn the seams, as you can see here and here. I would go in a little later and just cut away the excess material right here and here. I'll just take my scissors and cut this excess around the curve and probably go back in with a needle and thread. But Now that I've taken it in and slimmed it out a bit, down a bit, sorry, I'm going to do the next step, which is take my seam ripper and create a small opening for where the elastic and safety pin can comfortably pass through. So this spacing right here is good enough. I'm not going to go any wider with this. So I'm going to go in with the 1/2 inch and safety pin and pass the elastic through. Now you have to make sure and measure out the length of the elastic that you're going to use, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so to measure off my elastic that I need, I want my cuff to rest about here. So here's the elastic. Now I'm not just gonna do this. No, I need to stretch to get the length. So I'm gonna stretch. So this is it. So I know that when it fits, it's gonna fit nice and snug. So I'm not gonna put it too tight, but I'm also gonna make sure that I leave a little something for when I have to stitch the ends together. So this is the piece that I'm gonna need. Again, it'll be stretching, and that is gonna give me what I need. So now that I know the piece, I'm just going to measure it out and cut the length for the next side one time. Right. So now I have my 2 pieces of elastic, same length for the project. I thought my mom had a safety pin saying that she had a small sewing kit something, but she didn't. But I did find a paper clip, so I'm gonna have to use this. Now remember that little opening I created? I am going to take the paper clip, put it in, and start filtering the elastic through. So I'm going to hold this end piece to make sure that it doesn't go into the casing. So I have made it back out. So I'm going to remove the pin, and I have needle and thread prepped here, and I'm going to sew this shut. Okay, so I have completed my sewing of the elastic edges, and once I pull that there, I'm just going to see that? See how it opens? Now I know for a fact my foot is gonna fit into this. Just turn it right side out. Yeah. And I'm gonna put my foot in it just to show you guys, because I haven't done the other side as yet, but yeah. Right. And there we go. See? Nice, cuffed, no longer. And once I pull my pants up, this is how it's gonna look. See that? Love it, oh brother. There we go. So it's nice, neat, gathered, cuffed. Look at that. Voila.